Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be giving you guys an update on one of the videos I did yesterday discussing the giant robot mechanism-style creatures that are going around Los Santos attacking other players in Grand Theft Auto Online lobbies. And I stated that public lobbies might not be safe, not only due to what these certain things could do, but also if something like that has been able to spawn, who knows what other things could happen in the lobby. So today I'm going to be providing you guys with an update. So as I mentioned yesterday, I said that something like this has been going on for a while now. About 8 months ago, we saw one of our first creations of this happen in Grand Theft Auto Online that was going around causing lots of massive destruction. It obviously had the ability to destroy cars, and it could grief players if it wanted to. And there was a whole bunch of other things we looked at yesterday, like flying yachts, and I actually got to experience this myself, and that's why I want to provide the update for all of you guys. So thankfully, two of my good friends, Urban and Gaming Gangster, they both helped me out with this, and I went into an invite-only lobby on PC because I wanted to experience this for myself. I talked about these things the other day, but I wasn't really all quite that sure how they worked. So I was in an invite-only lobby. It was only us three. There was no one else in here, so we weren't bothering anyone. And how these things work are pretty crazy. So let's start with those giant robot things first that we saw the other day. So let's start off here, and about 95% of these robots are for show, meaning all the aesthetics, all the things you see don't have an impact on you in the world itself. Basically, what's controlling this thing is a tank that is hidden underneath some scrap metal or whatnot that basically hides it, and it makes it look like the robot itself is actually moving. Like the train, all the other tanks, all the things on top of the body itself, they have nothing to do with anything that's going to affect you. In fact, those things will even go through other objects. They aren't even solid. So the only thing that could actually cause damage here is the tank that sits underneath, and at that point, it's no different than having someone just call Pegasus and order up a tank. But I will say that getting to experience this in first person and getting to experience this, I guess, actually driving it, it is a ton of fun, and I can see how people can enjoy this because there is some humor to this, driving around in a giant mechanism-style robot in Grand Theft Auto Online and through the streets of Los Santos. So I can say that it was a very fun experience indeed, and it actually turns out that it's a lot less harmful than I thought. Now, can someone still have an unfair advantage using something like this? Absolutely. If they're able to spawn in a tank at random, obviously that's an advantage that they have that you don't. So at the end of the day, can this still be pretty harmful? Can this be an unfair advantage? Yes, but is it as deadly as it likely seems? No. Like I said, there's a lot on the surface here, but on the inside, it's extremely hollow, literally and figuratively. So there isn't a whole lot that you need to worry about here. In fact, I'm sure you could fly a jet through this thing if you wanted to, and you would be 100% fine. So that was one of the things we talked about earlier yesterday, and it was really, really cool. And like I said, I wanted to get a better view of this for myself to actually see what it was. Another one of those things we talked about was the flying yacht and how that might actually be dangerous if you were to obviously run into it, and you just need to be careful about it. How this flying floating yacht thing works is that it is a blimp with a yacht skin on top of it. So that's how you can see it flying and floating and moving, because underneath there is a blimp, and then on top of it is a yacht skin that you're actually able to stand on. And we were able to do that right here. You can obviously see how funny and how clever and crazy this is right here. And the wind turbine, those kind of propeller things, those are just props, aesthetics that you can see on the outside as well to make it look a little bit more lifelike and real. Now, what was the coolest part about this is we were actually able to stand on the deck of the yacht itself. So it really did look like we were flying here. And like with anything and everything, yes, you can consider this giving people an unfair advantage. So you could get an entire squad of RPG people on top that could rain down destruction on someone's business or someone's car show or something like that. Or you get an entire group of snipers up there that would just pick people off. And normally that really wouldn't be possible. And that again is another reason why we did this in an invite-only lobby, because even if we weren't causing anyone any harm, I still think it was for the best so that we didn't bother anyone whatsoever. But still, this yacht for the most part is pretty harmless. Now, you wouldn't be able to fly through this, or at least most of it, because you'd likely hit the blimp that's hiding underneath. So that is another thing you kind of need to be careful about here, that you could just run straight into the blimp without even knowing it. And like I said, that could be an issue for some people, but that is the flying yacht. And these two guys also showed me a bunch of other stuff that apparently this is capable of easily being able to be spawned into Grand Theft Auto Online here. So many lobbies could still be affected by this, and anyone you go into could have these things. There were some other things we looked at here, including a ton of variations of like different style monster trucks or vehicles that are on the monster truck frame. Another thing we actually saw was UFOs that had hydras attached to them. So that would probably explain the flying UFOs you might see around Los Santos, which is actually funny because the lore of Grand Theft Auto 5 is that, you know, something's going on with Mount Chiliad, with aliens, and if you were to see one of these flying around and you had no idea what was going on with all the flashing and glowing lights, you might think that Rockstar tried to sneak something in here, but no, that's just another one of the things you can spawn in, these giant glowing, you know, UFO-like things. As I mentioned, there were a bunch of other things we were able to get in, like hydras attached to monster trucks and whatnot. So many other cool things. Obviously, this allowed us to spawn in the two unreleased vehicles, the Itali GTB, as well as the Spectre, and a bunch of other crazy cars as well, like the Serrano with missiles on top of it. There is just so much that you're able to do, and it's so easy for players to spawn in as well. So the real update I want to give you guys here is that the things that you see are not as deadly as they originally sounded, but they still can give players an unfair advantage, whether it's just spawning in a tank or giving yourself a position to be like a, you know, mobile sniping helicopter. That's another thing you could consider. Obviously the UFOs and whatnot. Like I said, there's just so many things that players could do to give themselves an unfair advantage, but for what we were doing in this lobby, it was all in good fun. And that's where I really draw the line. I am totally fine with stuff like this, as long as you're doing it like in an invite-only lobby, a crew lobby, friend lobby. I don't care what you do, as long as you're not bothering other people that don't want to be bothered. The second you bring this into a public session, start messing with them, then that's when I can kind of consider having an issue with something like this. However, the point still remains from yesterday that if someone like this is able to spawn something in, that doesn't mean they're going to be a nice guy. Urban and Gaming Gangster, the guys I'm with, super cool. Obviously, they wouldn't do anything like that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't share that same mindset and just kind of want to watch the world burn. So they could spawn this stuff in. They could do other things like insurance fraud hacks. They could send you into a bad sport lobby. They could drain your money. They could do all sorts of things like trapping you inside your apartment or destroying all of your cars. There's a lot of things that modders and can do, and I don't want you guys to get caught up in that. So my recommendation still to this day is that you stay away from public lobbies until stuff like this can be fixed. The risk is just way too great, and there's no chance that you might get your account back. You guys have been hearing about so many horror stories recently where players would be losing their accounts, they would be getting banned for no reason, and it might be just because they stumbled in a lobby with someone that is using something like this. So that's where I once again kind of back up my point. Invite-only lobbies with friends, with crew members that are interested in doing something like this. Heck, I even think my friend Jobless Garrett did a stream like this last night where he was playing around with someone who was just spawning in fun vehicles like this. So I am not against having fun. I think that stuff like this makes Grand Theft Auto Online way more enjoyable and way more exciting. It's just when that line becomes blurred and someone that has the ability to do this also kind of extends over the line and starts spawning in other things that can be deadly, harmful, and whatnot. But honestly, I had a ton of fun with this. These robots are taking over Grand Theft Auto Online, and I do think it is pretty cool to see just a bunch of these things out and about. I think it would be cool if like two took on each other. And the one other thing I didn't know about the robots as well is that they like catch on fire. That was one thing that was really surprising because up until this point, we had only had one picture of how these things worked. One picture. And now, thanks to these guys, like I said, I got to experience it. And now you guys kind of get to experience it as well. So there's a lot of things that were kind of unknown since we only had, like I said, that picture the other day. And now we know, I still think it's pretty cool, but at the same time, I just want you guys to remain careful as well. But anyways, that's really all the information that I have for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, comments, and more in the comment section down below on this issue. Do you think these robots and other mods are cool as long as they're in invite-only sessions? Do you think they don't belong at all? They should be permanently banned? Like I said, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comment section down below. If you guys did go and enjoy the video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Since we didn't get to a live stream today, I will be doing one tomorrow, Saturday, which should be happening pretty early in the day, maybe around noon or 1 p.m. So wake up early for that if that is early for you, and we should have a lot of fun. But without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.